finally doing it. Okay, so I'm Luna, as most of you know. I have been studying natural medicine, herbal medicine. Um, I got my associate's degree in applied science, complementary and alternative medicine, and I also have my certificate in herbal studies, herbal medicine. And the main thing people have been the most interested in is herbalism. So that is going to be the primary focus of these classes that I'm making. I am going to record these episodes. And anyways, let's dive in. So what is herbal medicine? Herbal medicine is the part of healing sciences that deals with the therapeutic properties of herbs. In the middle of the 19th century, scientists started to isolate the active constituents from herbs and duplicated their structures synthetically. This seems like it could be helpful, but by doing this, it destroys the natural balance and harmony from the plant, as the secret of health and healing comes from the entire plant, or at least part of the plant that is medicinally active. For example, sometimes in herbal medicine, we will use the roots for different things than, say, the flowers or leaves, as the roots can have different active constituents and therapeutic properties than the leaves. Licorice root is an example here, and I will go over licorice root in another episode. And many also say that the plants draw an intangible energy from the sun, the air, and even the moon. So it's not something that can be synthetically replicated if you are also including the energy that comes from these healing plants that have been used for centuries. One thing to be mindful of and remember is to always look at the therapeutic margin of an herb so you can understand the potency of an herb. Certain herbs, you can have adverse reactions if you consume too much, just as with anything. Also, if you are on any medications or taking other herbs and vitamins, make sure to check and see if the herbs that you are thinking about adding to your diet or having as a tea, tincture, make sure it doesn't interfere with what you are already taking. Some examples of this, though, since I am going to be talking about skullcap. Skullcap is a sedative, and let's say you take Ambien for insomnia. You do not want to mix these two, as the skullcap is a natural sedative, so it will increase the effects of the Ambien. Remember, herbal medicine is not the end-all be-all. Now that you have found and are learning about herbal medicine, it doesn't mean stop seeing your primary care provider. You still want to go in and get, checkups, blood tests done. But make sure too, if your primary care provider doesn't want to work with you while you are working with natural medicine, it is always okay to find a new primary care provider if you don't feel comfortable with, and they don't seem like they want to work with, if you have a naturopathic doctor or with you and what you are advocating for yourself and wanting to try new and natural alternatives for you. That is why this area of medicine is called complementary and alternative medicine. It complements Western medicine. So this isn't saying screw Western medicine. You always want to have a balance. So the first herbs in this episode that I'm going to talk about are German chamomile, and then I'm going to zoom in on each one and show you the Latin names, Latin binomial names, and why those are important to know. Mullein leaf, rosemary leaf, dandelion leaf, and black walnut hulls. Matricardia racutica is German chamomile. Taraxum officinale is dandelion leaf. Rosmania officinalis is rosemary leaf. Lavandula angustifolia is lavender, or this form of lavender. And then we have Verbiscum thapsus is mullein leaf. Juglans nigra is black walnut hulls. And then ginger root is Guyber officinale. I'm also going to be talking about ginger root today, and I got this lime because I'm going to talk about alkaline in the body and why it is important to have a more alkaline diet or consume things such as limes, lemons, apple cider vinegar. But I will just briefly go over these two at the end. My main focus today is going to be on the herbs, including the ginger. But I do want to finish the episode off just talking about having an alkaline diet and why it's important to have a more alkaline pH and what that means. So now that we have gone over the Latin binomial names, I want to go over the active constituents, therapeutic actions, and like safety protocols with each of the herbs that I went over, and then also why these are also important to know. And I'm also going to talk about the most common active constituents found in herbs, just so you get a general idea, because I'm not going to go through each one of each herb. But that book that I recommended explains it there. Also, I'm going to give you some scholarly websites that you can use. PubMed is one of them, and then I'm going to list them all in the next little slide, and you can pause and write these down. The reason that it's important to use scholarly sources is because anyone can upload anything on a website and Google can share it. Scholarly websites, scholarly sources have been gone over by professionals, research studies, so it's really important to know where you're getting your information from. Okay, so as we went over and discussed, there are many different herbs with the same name, such as lavender, which is why we want to use the Latin binomial names. If you're ever purchasing an herb, make sure that you note what the Latin binomial name is, because different types of lavender do different things. Herbs also have a family that they belong to of herbs. So German chamomile belongs to the Asteraceae family. Common names for German chamomile are German chamomile and wild chamomile. So let's take a look again at the German chamomile up close. Now I'm going to show you a picture of German chamomile fresh. They kind of look like little daisy flowers. Similar to Roman chamomile, I'm also going to add a slide of Roman chamomile next, and you can read over the differences between Roman chamomile versus German chamomile, which is what we're talking about right now. Roman chamomile has a lighter, fresher, and almost apple-like aroma. German chamomile smells more like a sweet straw, and it's a little bit earthier. Medicinally, both varieties are used for calming and soothing the skin and the mind, inflammation, fevers, and help the nervous system. It helps with anxiety, sleep disturbances, ADHD, and so on. And it also helps with digestive system, as well as inducing perspiration to flush out toxins, different allergens, and infections in the body. Both are also pain relievers, antibiotic, antibacterial, and mild sedative. Flowers that are nearly fully bloomed are the best choice when harvesting German chamomile. Chamomile is something you've probably heard of, as it is commonly used in tea as like a nighttime tea. It's a very relaxing herb. Not only that, it actually helps the digestion system. It can help with travel, sickness, gas, nervous diarrhea. You know, when sometimes if you have anxiety or you're a naturally nervous person, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it even helps with ADHD, anxiety, and as we know, and I've said, insomnia. On this next slide, I'm going to just go over a bunch of other great uses for German chamomile. So, safety precautions. German chamomile is known as mostly safe. They can't say that every herb is safe because some people could be allergic, but German chamomile is one of those herbs that pretty much everyone can take it, drink it. However you ingest the herb, it's generally a safe herb to take. You can also get its benefits from its essential oil. That is mostly considered safe as well. But similarly to Roman chamomile, you want to try and avoid it in your first trimester of pregnancy. As with any medicine, including herbal medicine, if you have any pre-existing health issues or you are currently pregnant, trying to get pregnant, please speak to your primary care provider or OBGYN prior to the use of any herbal supplements. Okay, a little outfit change. It's been a few days since I've recorded. Not that you guys know, other than me telling you and my outfit, but we're going to move on to dandelion leaf, and now I'm going to zoom in on dandelion leaf and show you what that looks like dried, and then also what that looks like fresh. So unlike the roots are best collected in like late fall, but when it comes to the leaves, it's best to harvest them right before the plant flowers, as the leaves can become very bitter after the plant has flowered. A lot of people use dandelion leaves in salads, and so that's especially important if you're eating them raw, to make sure that they are harvested prior to the plant flowering for the best taste. Next, I'm going to go over some of the benefits of dandelion leaves as well as the roots. I'm going to just go over these two at the same time so that we don't have to revisit the root later, because the root has some different and also amazing therapeutic properties to it. So I'll go over those now in the next slide. Research has shown dandelion root's ability to protect the liver. Dandelion extract has also shown antiviral activity against influenza. It is an effective blood cleanser, also known as alterative, and is also a diuretic. Dandelion flowers are being studied more as well, as they're a rich plant source of flavones. Flavones have shown great antioxidant activity, and research shows dandelion flower extract is effective A preliminary study found that the extract of dandelion flowers was able to stop the growth of a strain of human ovarian cancer cells in vitro, but more clinical trials will be needed on this. As I mentioned before, the leaves of dandelion are very nutritious, and the young leaves can be added to salads, or they can be lightly steamed. Like sometimes I'll add them into a stir fry, and then of course made into a tea, infusion, added to a tincture. Dandelion is rich in different vitamins and minerals, including iron, silica, magnesium, calcium, potassium, phosphorus, sulfur, vitamin A, vitamin B1, 2, and B3, vitamin C, vitamin D, and choline, which regulates the liver. The main constituent of the root is taraxin. Taraxin is a crystalline and bitter substance that varies in concentration depending on the time of year it is collected. Now I'm going to list some more of the active constituents that are found in the root. You can pause to read. As mentioned in the slides, dandelion is a great herb to help support the liver and help flush the liver, especially within the roots. Dandelion root is often added to most herbal supplements that you will find in a blend. There is one that I take every day. I'm going to put a list of my liver tonic that I take. I think it's really important to focus on helping the liver, especially with taking other vitamins and supplements. It helps the body really process and absorb the vitamins and nutrients. Dandelion, similarly to German chamomile, is also considered generally safe, mostly safe. But when you are pregnant or breastfeeding, you want to minimize the amount that you're intaking from just the normal amount you would take. And it can also cause an allergic reaction. So for those reasons are why it's just considered generally safe and not completely safe. No herb, again, is considered completely 100% safe. And the times when dandelion is just not recommended is if you have acute gallbladder inflammation, a bile duct obstruction, and an intestinal blockage due to its ability to stimulate bile production, and act as a laxative. Next, I'm going to go over some formulas to use dandelion so that you can get an idea of how to use the herb if you're not familiar, other than just in a salad. Pause to read as needed. Dandelion coffee is a very common use that you might have heard of. Dandelion coffee is made with the roots, and when it is like steamed or brewed, it is a very similar aroma to coffee. But unlike coffee, it does not have caffeine in it. Unlike a stimulant like coffee, it does keep you clear-headed and really helps you attain just a natural energy without the jitters that stimulants such as coffee can give you. And now I'm going to go over mullein, which if you follow me on TikTok, you know I have briefly gone over it, but I'm going to go over mullein because I think it is not as well known as the last two that I spoke about, but is really beneficial, especially when it pertains to lung health. So I'm going to zoom in on the herb right now, dried and also fresh. And now I'm going to go over the active constituents and the therapeutic properties of mullein, as well as where you can find it, when to harvest it, and then I will finish it off with safety precautions, etc. With mullein, if you have really sensitive skin, I would do a skin patch test if you're gonna apply it to the skin, as it can cause dermatitis. So if you are prone to allergies, just make sure to do a patch test, which I will explain what that is just in a very brief slide in the next part here. safety precautions. When it comes to mullein, you do not want to ingest or use the seeds or the roots as they are toxic. You just want to use what we have gone over, which is the leaves and the flowers. And again, as with the last two herbs, mullein is considered mostly safe. And then when handling the leaves, you do want to be careful. There's little hairs on them that can be irritating to the skin. Here's an up-close photo of what the hairs on mullein look like. When you're straining it, make sure you use a cheesecloth or something like a coffee filter so that none of the little hairs get into your beverage, as that can irritate your throat. Just as you saw in the picture, there's little hairs on there, and kind of like kiwi hairs, it can be quite irritating if ingested or rubbed against on the skin. And that is all for this week's class. I was going to do all of these herbs this week, but I wanted to just start off with these ones because I started off the video really explaining herbal medicine and the active constituents. So next week we will do the live stream chat where you guys can ask me any questions you might have. And then the following week I will upload the next class. And we will go over the other herbs that I talked about in the start of this video. And that will be the final part of this very first class. And we'll move on to the second class. And I am really excited that you guys are here. I am so excited to finally be doing the classes. Thank you everyone who's joined. So moving forward after this two-part class, I think most of the classes will be in just one part. So just keep that in mind moving forward. Each classes are going to be, each class like videos are each going to be about 30 minutes to an hour. And then we will connect the following week to go over questions and all of that. And then I will upload the questions and answers shortly after the live chat questionnaire. So thank you all for being here.